The industry seems to have become everyone's favorite punching bag. And the latest to deliver a big blow is the finance minister himself, who pulled up India's leading bankers, asking them to put pressure on real estate companies and developers to lower prices of houses and apartments. This whammy comes at a time when developers are already reeling under rising input costs, drying sales, drying funds, and lower demand amidst an economic slump. Almost overnight, the finance minister has forced us to get a very basic answer to the very big question. Are developers really pretending to be under duress, or is the slowdown in real estate for real? Let's get to the bottom of it all with our special guest. Let me start introducing the Bombay panelist, Rajiv Piramal, Executive Vice Chairman, Peninsula Land. Rajiv, thanks very much for being here on the panel.
Thank you.
Anuj Puri, Chairman, CII Real Estate Summit. Anuj, good to have you back with us.
Thank you.
Jairam Sridharan, Head Consumer Lending and Payments, Axis Bank, to give us a home loan perspective and the banking perspective. Jairam, thanks very much. My Delhi panel, Subhash Bedi, Managing Director, Red Fort Capital Management Company, and Pranav Ansal, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Ansal Properties and Infrastructure. So we really have all viewpoints stitched today, so stay tight on your seat. Now, the Finance Minister in his meetings said or noted that 5 lakh units across India were lying vacant. This is really ironical to the fact that at present we also read figures that there's a shortage of about 2.5 crore housing units in the country, or 25 million as it's said often. And why that's so obvious becomes when you break down the shortage and see that 90% of the shortage is for affordable homes, or homes that cost below 20 lakhs. But that's not what you want to buy. So take the other 10% of shortage, which is for middle income group. That works out to 25 lakh units. Now the question is, these back of the envelope calculations might be too simplistic, but Anuj, coming to you first. Figures simply don't add up. 5 lakh empty units when the pent-up demand just by that simplistic figure is 25 lakh homes. So why are homes lying vacant? Why is there a demand-supply mismatch?
I think really there are two points that you need to drill down. One is, where are these 5 lakh homes lying vacant? And it is quite possible that number is correct, but then these homes may be in New Bombay, maybe in OMR in Chennai, maybe further down the road in Greater Noida. So clearly from a location perspective, one needs to be clear that is there a demand enough to be absorbing those kinds of numbers. The second is, I am not even sure that 5 lakh units are completed and lying vacant. There may be 5 lakh units of unsold inventory which is under construction. But 5 lakh units, to my mind, completed and lying vacant is too large a number for the developers, even if they are in some of the locations that I had mentioned earlier, not to reduce the price in those locations. So clearly, I think that the numbers that are being represented does not have a color around that in terms of where the location is and what's the stage of construction or completion of those apartments which are slated to be lying vacant.
All right, so point taken. Where are those 5 lakh units? Because frankly, Pranav, if it's coming from the finance ministry, and it's a reported news, then there must be some units which are empty. So location, and would you support what Anuj is saying, that they're not constructed units, they're probably under construction?
See, what happens, I can speak for the developer community. Developers don't build till they sell a unit. So if we are all making several buildings, there may be 2 or 3 units.
So developers don't sell until they sell a unit.
No.
That's the important point.
Absolutely
in India.
Right, absolutely
and that's happening. I mean, nobody actually, from the pre-launch phase, you start selling and then you start making, isn't
Absolutely
it?
Right, absolutely right. First developers sell and after that they build, and the payments are linked with the construction. But what happens is, when you're making a building, in the building you may have 2 or 3 flats which are unsold, and the majority, 80 or 90% of the flats are sold. So maybe if you add that percentage up and then come up with this figure of 5 lakhs, otherwise I don't think there'll be 5 lakh units. I 100% agree with Anuj. There may be in some areas which are really far away, some far-flung area or something which has happened. Builders don't do it. Maybe the government has some housing which they have built and they've not found adequate use to it. So that could be another issue.
Subhash, he's agreeing to the fact. So we can't have a panel which is all on one side and saying that finance minister has got his figures wrong.
I would say he has his figures wrong. I mean, I don't know people that are, I know people are queuing up to live in houses. I would challenge anybody to go to any city in India where they would find people, you know, and houses empty, towers of buildings that are just dark at night. The only thing I could think of where this could come into play is if the government hasn't given a permission for people to occupy a building for whatever reason, and there's delays there. So I would throw it back at the government.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.